And the button has been pushed. Hey,
What the fuck is
Hey,
up,
am I
everybody?
supposed to sing another song?
Maybe. That is obligatory for the starting of the session.
I'm singing a different song. This one has a low in it. Hi.
Alright, now, David, sing the song about what happened last session. Go.
Last session we arrived in the town. It had an upbeat song. No, it didn't. Everybody thought we were kinda sus. So sus.
Fairly accurate. Anybody want to add anything to that?
We discussed things and
Look,
discovered
you
that
wanted
there's
me to sing it, okay? That's as far as I'm going.
Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah. So, we discovered that most likely the owner of all these slaves is the guy who runs the Adventurers Guild.
Mhm.
So that's fun, I guess.
The Bannermains. Yes. You guys we're heading south from the mines with your group,
Yes.
your merry band of indentured servants, as they, you guys.
Yes, we brought them back, last I recall.
Mm-hmm. Brought
Yeah,
them
We
back.
were talking with them and telling them, what happened. Explaining why that mine probably won't be mined for the moment.
Gotcha. Now, question for you guys: who did you bring them to? Did you bring them to the Bannermains? Did you bring them to the temples? Where are you bringing the group?
I thought we went to the Bannermains. At least
Yeah,
that's what I remember.
Like we talked about talking about the temple, but that's something to check in with to see if they've seen Ring Dancer's body.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so we're gonna offload the slaves first, talk to the leader of the Bannermains and return his property to him, and then we're gonna pursue leads and tracking down Cassiopeia.
Mhm.
Yes, and
I think a good
Little
jump.
Spot was attempting to impress upon them how good of a deed they did. It was so good. She is currently, I will remind, a little sphinx.
Yes, I think a good jump-on point would be the main stitch of this here sect of the Bannermains. Looking at all of you guys, having brought in all these slaves who are still outside, and they're just kind of looking at all the trees and things. Not something that they normally see very often. They just seem interested in the vegetation. Inside, however, the Sphinx who runs this here sect of the Bannermains is looking you guys up and down. So, you are telling me that they all have come from the mines, and you brought them all down here to do what exactly?
Orion,
to be assigned to something new.
Orion answers in Sphinx. Yeah, you see, there's a bunch of rock people in that cave over there, and they were going to cave in the cave on top of your slaves. So we decided to escort them out and bring them back to you.
He kind of puts up a paw. Bah! It is these, what are they? The elementals, yes?
I think so.
Say
Start
hello.
answer. You're the one who
Amongst
spoke to
other
them. What were they?
It was like Earth aligned everything, not just elementals.
Yes.
And he shakes his head. They have been causing the problems for years. We were there first before them anyway. And he kind of like rolls his eyes. Besides, we needed the other stone for, well, we want to set up something like they have in, and he kind of points somewhat southward in terms of a direction. Somewhat similar to how they are setting up in, or have set up in, Dakulai. Is that is the one?
What's Aetherstone?
And he blinks a little bit. It is the very large and very, well, not large. It is a very rare mineral that helps with setting up very large teleportation operations. At least as far as I am aware. Yes.
Oh.
Little Spot gives a bit of a nod. Well, you're still going to have to take care of all the rocks before you can get any of the rocks.
Well, that is the thing, is, and he kind of thinks a little bit. Well, if they are back, mind you, like I said, we were there first. Obviously, we opened up the mine and began doing so, but they have recently been causing more and more trouble in there. Yes?
Well, if you want to pay some adventurer to take care of it for you, I suppose that's an option.
And he looks you
But
guys
not
up.
us, we're busy.
But not something we have time for.
He blinks. So you are just going to take the slaves away and then not help out with the problem? And he
No,
shakes-
take the slaves to you. We just did that. You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't think you understand how big the problem has gotten. Like, quite literally, the rock people are getting much bigger. And they're very angry.
Yeah, you should do something about that.
And who are they angry at? The slaves or what?
Everybody who disturbs their area, which would include the slaves while they're there, you're welcome again.
He kind of like flumps a little bit. Very well. I suppose I will have to go find somebody to deal with this problem. At the very least, I appreciate you not leaving my underlings here to, or out there to, you know, become part of the earth, as it were.
We just did what felt like the right thing to do, she says, giving a great big fake feline smile.
Now I must-
By the way, there is a reward for that sort of thing? Lean in.
there was what?
A reward for that sort of thing?
And he thinks a little bit. A reward. He kind of thinks a little bit. Well, he kind of thinks, and he starts rummaging in. I mean, there is always a small bit of gold, though this is mainly gifts from the people of the city for the Bannermains. Are you part of the Bannermains by chance?
Not yet.
He looks you guys up and down. How are
To
you
be
not-
honest, if I'm gonna be honest, there's actually a decent chance Steady is. He was literally working as sort of a mercenary, like guard before he joined the party. So unless there's some other kind of fallout that would have complicated any of his adventures previously, you know, the adventures in freeing the slaves and such, then he might be.
Aha, and what was your home city again?
I don't remember. He didn't live in a city. He was in a town that was to the sort of the southeast of the southeast of the city we wound up starting in, I think.
Gotcha. If it's one of the southernmost cities, it would be Everton. Otherwise, there's a bunch of little foresty ones around that area. You're free to look at in case. But he's if you are part of the Bannermains, then obligatory part of your little adventurer's outfit is, yes, you have a little badge that you can show off whenever.
Right. I would do that. I'd be like, well, yeah, it's been a minute.
And he looks at it. Oh yes, well you've come quite a far way away from your own main stitch, yes?
Yes. We got caught up in some things.
Well, let me extend a paw to you, and he extends a paw for you to shake. I am Shen. I am the main stitch of Wati.
Hi, I'm Steady Shoot. I don't think I held much of a position at all.
Little Spout waves a
on another
paw.
continent.
Nobody asked her, "Hi, I'm Little Spout."
Little Spout also seems like a decent person who might have joined the Bannermans at some point.
Well, I mean, are
but
they
he also
an
is-
adventurer guild everywhere, or what?
The Bannermains are a well-known adventuring organization throughout the wonderful land of Estia. Every single city has a main stitch. This just happens to be the one that's of this one. And depending on the size of the city, sometimes it's usually just, you know, an adventuring party, and the team leader is kind of the main stitch, right?
Well, I mean, from where she was from, way off to the west, would there have been one, and would they have taken her at level 1 is really the question.
Likely not.
Disappointed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Steady would have definitely because it definitely was established that he was adventuring in his backstory and that he had done.
I mean, that's literally what she went to do. I'm gonna go adventuring. Oh, look, people are getting into trouble. I'm gonna rescue them. Yay!
Yes. Other details of your backstory, though, Little Spout, keep in mind that you are on the, if you're from the western side of the map, where these guys, aren't the most fond of ponies, and also other aspects of your backstory related to mining and other things. So,
Yeah, well, that's why I was asking. It's like, do they exist there?
Yes, they exist, but they unfortunately probably wouldn't have taken you on. However, Shen here looks you guys up and down, and he looks up to you, especially there, steady shoot. Well, if you are one, and these guys do not seem to have badges, is there a reason for this, or?
Like I said, we got caught up in things. The business we were on was not Bannermain business. We met at a wedding, and things happened. There was an attack.
A wedding.
And things just sort of moved in the way.
We're on a rescue mission, and we got interrupted by another rescue mission. We did it! Is there a reward?
Is there a reward? Let me say, and he kind of thinks a little bit. I have an idea of something that might be of a reward to you, yes? What if, and he thinks, while I cannot pull you onto my my groups here, if you are to take, and he looks outside, escort these folk to Lerbost, yes, more toward the south. If that is indeed where you are headed by the looks, I will send word to the main stitch there, yes, and she can pull you onto the Bannermains, and then you get all of the wonderful perks that come with it, yes? I feel like that is reward enough, yes?
How far south?
He kind of thinks, and this is where I
We
get
are
my
on
ruler.
our way to. Let me look at the map here. We are on our way to. What's our final destination? Is it Crest Hill?
We're going to hell.
Well,
And
yeah,
back.
but which place is the portal to hell? Which is to say, where the horrible monsters. Which is to say, the is it Anziel's family? Was that the right one?
It is Anziel's family.
Okay,
Still.
Anziel's family. What?
Crest Hill.
Okay, yeah. So actually, it is on our way. So.
He roughly gestures. It's if you are just walking casually about, I would say 6 days travel. Though if you take the ferry, and he points toward one of the, he points toward like the big river that runs next to Wati, it will only take you maybe about 3. Though you obviously, the ferry workers do not work under me, and they do require a little bit of gold in terms of compensation. But you are adventuring types, no? That should not be a problem for you.
Orion starts scratching his chin.
Hello.
Then he bounces off of the head of Steady Shoot and lands next to the main stitch. You know, boss, there was a complicated issue leading up to us getting ejected from the caves. You see all those slaves over there? They got infected with ghosties. I don't exactly know what they're called, but they were very stagnant, not doing their work, being a bunch of lazy layabouts. We cured them. We got the spirits out of them. So you could say we saved these slaves twice. Does that mean we get paid twice?
Give me a diplomacy check, you.
Oh, I'm good at those. Watch this.
Let's see it.
Gotta open my character sheet and remember the symbols. Hey, I guessed right.
Hey, look at that. And he kind of blinks and chuckles a little bit. Yes, you are indeed a funny adventuring type. I remember when I was like you. And he pats you on the head. Pat, 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 pat. But no payment twice.
Oh, well, I guess we can just put them right back in that cave.
I don't think that is how it will work. Look, they are so happy looking at the trees and the vegetation. They have not seen it in a long time, I'm sure.
Are they actually happy?
And he opens the
I
window.
mean, they're yours, right? We can just leave them here.
That is perfectly acceptable, technically, yes. Though, and he kind of like thinks a little bit, and that's when you see him actually like pull something out of his drawer, which seems to be a smaller spell book. Give me a moment, and he starts saying some words, moving around his paws, and in the air you start to see little mathematical symbols start to float up from the book, and then go to stick on the walls before they start just kind of like floating up and down it. He clears his
Can I
throat.
Arcana that?
Go for it.
How do we figure out what that is?
Knowledge Arcana.
Knowledge Arcana, or if you have recognized spell as a feat, you can do the thing, I think. Is that how that works in PF2?
I have no idea.
Let me see. Recognize spell, because I know that's a PF2E thing that you can get. Oh, cool. It helps you like roll higher to do the thing. But you're free to roll an Arcana regardless, because it still does have success, failure, tiers.
Alright, Casey and I rolled.
Yep. I saw that bit. I'm waiting for.
Figuring out where things are.
No problem.
I'm confused on occultism. I still haven't figured out how it would be used.
Occultism is like
Everything should be public rules. Whatever.
It's all good. So you guys kind of recognize that he is doing, and I still gotta look up what the exact like, what a equivalent spell would this be? But Pathfinder 1, it'd be Secret Table, which is he's effectively soundproofing the room.
Okay. Occultism is the purview of bards and like witches, and it's sort of like non-religious superstition spirits and
Hexes, that kind of thing.
Other planes actually have a lot of occult knowledge in them, as well. Like there's more overlap in this system than there was in the other systems, I feel like, when it comes to knowledges, because you can roll like religion or occult or Arcana. You know, if you're looking at like, oh, there's another plane. Religion knows things about certain planes. Arcana probably in general, and occult more in general.
Yep. Like, you know, the plane of positive energy probably is a knowledge religion, less so than a occultism. But you guys recognize that he is soundproofing the room with spells, though it's odd the way that he's casting them. It's not something that you've necessarily seen a lot before. Though he continues, so between you and me, I would prefer that you move them to Leros, yes?
Why is that?
And he looks, he has, like, he kind of, like, peeks the window open just a little bit more. You see how happy they are, looking at the trees and being outside, yes?
Yeah, fresh air,
Yes.
sunlight.
You see, the people of Wati are not entirely on board with them having these feelings. Do you get me?
I got the feeling that no.
Orion reaches into his bag and pulls out a scalpel. I could make them feel something else.
And he looks over at you and he kind of smiles. Oh, bottles would love you, yes? But no, this is not what I am talking about.
Oh,
He shakes his head. Shake. No. The people of Wati are... he kind of fidgets at his chest a little bit, and that's where you see him kind of like rubbing like a small necklace that he has. Kind of really decorated. It's somewhat gold. It has little silver markings on it. They are xenophobic to say the least. They do not like it when the hoofed kind come in and muck up the place. Yes, that is why most of the bannermains that come here on occasion typically stay inside either the tavern, more towards right over the way, or here. Quite honestly, nobody wishes to house them here, and that is why these poor unfortunate ones are slaves, yes? The more southern you take them, the lighter it will be for them, and I am sure that they are not ones that would want to return to the mines, given the situation there, yes?
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like I'm definitely on board with moving them, given the reasoning too. And it's been a while since I've taken a Banner Mains mission. Probably good for my career.
Fair enough. And he kind of looks up. Well, yes, if you are going to take them to Lurbos, the main stitch there is the leader of the Rumble Foxes, yes? Do you know them?
What's his handle?
And he kind of smiles a little bit. It is not a him, yes?
What is their name?
And this is where I need to pull up my notes, because I just blanked on what that name was. So give me 1 second. I had it written here.
Eugene.
What was that?
I'm just throwing names out there. I don't know.
Oh, it's just Orion just throwing out names like this one. Now this one. Hang on, I'm loading up my notes here. I don't know why I didn't have them open in the first place.
Main Stitch of Wadi is scrummaging through files to try to figure out who his equal is in the other town.
Oh yeah, okay. My thoughts were right. I should have just went with that. And he kind of smiles. Yes, her name is Sela. Yes, she is a paladin of Soft Whisper. Also the captain of the guard. She does not travel nearly as much with the Lumblefoxes as she used to, but they do use that as their home base whenever they have their famous boutings with creatures in the arena and Lurbust. Yes.
Orion opens up his alchemist cookbook, reads through it briefly, closes it, and puts it back in his book or in his bag. Boss, it's not beyond our abilities to transport a few slaves. Obviously, we can do that. But they did mention that there's other missions going on. In fact, there's a very dangerous individual that we have followed here to Wati. We don't know if they're in your city, but we need to find them.
Dangerous individual.
Incredibly.
Who is this?
My wife.
Oh. Well, why did you marry her if she was so dangerous?
Well, so far she's been dangerous to everyone else. She's been very loving and caring to me. But I spoke with Anziel over here as we came into your city, and I'm starting to see his point. Maybe she's been taking things too far.
So, yeah, I could tell you are the adventuring types, yes? Taking the big risks with the ones that will intimidate everybody else, yes? That is how it is? He still said.
In a sense.
Well, what did she look like? Maybe I can give you a pointer if I've seen anything, or I could put the notice out.
She was ring dancer's short, right?
She's actually.
Yeah.
She's actually. I'd say like a couple inches taller than most. Given that like she's kind of a boxer. I mean, she's built. Like she's not like muscular, but she is fit, and she is a little taller than most.
She's
okay.
like an Olympian pole vaulter.
For whatever reason, I had always imagined her as sort of like Napoleon complex, smaller than other people. You know, not like short, but just like a little bit smaller than people.
Yeah. She's 5 foot. She's 5'11" and a half.
Yeah. Meanwhile, instead, she's nearly 6 feet. Yeah.
It's the horn, man. The horn makes her look tall.
Okay.
Moonplanter's going to take out his hat of disguise, and he's going to say, "She looks like this."
And you make yourself look like a ring dancer, with or without scars? Question mark.
If I'm not mistaken, her scars healed when Cassiopeia took control. Yes.
This is correct.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Then without scars.
And without scars, you show what she looks like. And for those watching, I will describe again that in Ring Dancer's less scarred state, you do notice that her cutie mark, which was once scraped off, looks like 2 boxing gloves. How cute. And yeah, he kind of assesses, kind of looking left, right. I feel like this does look familiar, yes.
It would have been almost right in front of us, maybe a day ahead of us, at best.
Well, it is odd. I am reminded of yesterday. I had taken some of my Bannermains out for a drink at the tavern, and I feel as if I may have seen her there. Though I cannot be sure.
Have you done a head count of your Bannermains recently?
Yes. Well, I mean, and he kind of thinks a little bit. I have a fair amount of Bannermains under here. This is one of the bigger cities, similar to Bleakburn or Dakulai, but not as quite as big as Basin Sage. But yes, I did a head count of the ones that I had. It was me, Bottles, and well, Bottles is friends technically, but we had a few drinks or so. This is why I am saying that I could not be too sure. He gives a small chuckle.
How long ago was this? Last night? 2 nights ago?
It was yesterday, yes.
Okay.
Star Dancer, what was the shrine that we found in the cave with the slaves?
GM, what was the shrine that we found in the cave with the slaves?
You remember that shrine to be a shrine of Soft Whisper.
That's what I thought.
That makes sense. I think
And
something's
this,
a big deal around here.
Mm-hmm.
Were you aware that there was a shrine to Soft Whisper in the lodgings where your slaves were?
He kind of thinks, I have not been to those lodgings, but I also would not doubt that that would be the thing that is there. I mean, it is what he is all about, yes?
Orion jumps up on his desk and squats down low and whispers to him, "There's some blue mushrooms in there. You should be careful."
Blue mushrooms. You know,
I think they were blue, but I can't remember.
Yes, they were. We think they were responsible for or contributing to. It's unclear. The amnesia problem they were having, the listlessness.
Well, this is certainly new. I have not heard any reports of any blue mushrooms or anything like that.
It's possible they may have been grown
Hmm.
by someone intending to do this.
Well, I appreciate you. And you are sure that you do not wish to take on any missions for there? And he kind of tilts his head.
No, we're heading the other direction.
Fair. I will get Bottles and the rest of them on it pronto. I feel like she is probably a better one to be looking into drugs and substances and the like. I appreciate you telling me this.
Well, just be aware, they number in the dozens, and there's a really, really big one that hides underground.
Ah, and you say these make you fuzzy in the mind, yes? As in,
think
so
I
fuzzy
think
that you no longer
Oh, no,
have
no,
mind.
I think he was talking about the elementals this time.
Yeah, the elementals are big and underground. These mushrooms, I think we burnt them.
Ooh.
Didn't we burn them?
There may be others. Mushrooms are underneath. Hold on, let me check my skills real quick.
I do remember, out of character, I do remember my knowledge.
Yes.
nature-
I was just checking my knowledge nature check. I'm like, oh yes, I'm trained in that. Well, mushrooms do have a tendency to possibly have
and he puts up.
networks underneath it.
Yeah,
Networks underneath.
he puts a paw up and he just kind of smiles like, oh no. I have my fair share of what mushrooms do. I was an adventurer once like you too. And he smiles and he puts his paw away. However, yes, I will get them to go look at it and possibly a couple others in case a certain earthen nuisance continues to be just that, an earthen nuisance.
All right. Well, I guess we can take your slaves down south then. In the meantime, if you happen to come across this pink mare, and then he takes the hat off. She's very hungry for blood. She loves dead bodies and leaving them behind all over the place. So make sure you keep a head count of all your troops, especially if you saw her last night.
And you kind of
Try not to be honest, try not to hurt her. We kind of need her intact.
Okay, and if I am in,
It would be appreciated.
and if I do spot them here, I will be sure to tell. Somehow, I will probably ask the cleric to send a message to the main stage of Lirbost. So when you arrive, you get word as soon as you can. Yes.
That would be appreciated. We'll probably be looking around for her soon, though.
Ah, very fair. Well, I have one more thing for you, I suppose. For all this information and you being so kindly, and he opens up his drawer, he starts to count out just a couple things, and he slides you an amount of gold and silver. This is for the fair. It should cover it for the lot of you. And he's kind of tilting.
Yeah, steady sort of officially accepts it.
The fair is usually larger for the pony types, which is why you have the gold in there, but it seems like you have a sphinx in your group here, so they might be a little bit more lenient. He smiles. He looks at you, little spout.
Do I get a badge?
When you get to Lirbost, I am sure Sela will bring you through all of the wonderful ceremonies required to get a badge.
Aww.
Yes, I apologize, but if you're excited to go, then get a move on you. And he smiles. Go on.
Orion's going to.
Thank you for your help.
Of course.
Considerably.
He smiles.
Orion's going to scowl at him, and right before he leaves, he's going to sniff around the office to see if he catches any traces of Cassiopeia. Or more specifically, Ring Dancer, because she now has the body.
Yes.
You start sniffing around. Sniff, 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 sniff. And he just kind of watches you sniff around his office into, a small side plant. Ow, that was a cactus. And, that kind of thing. And you don't seem to pick up anything necessarily of Ring Dancer in here. Though you do pick up the scent of course, the Sphinx. And a strange potion-y smell. You can't really determine where that's coming from, though.
Aw.
More,
Okay.
yeah. You do catch it more underneath the door leading out, though. You kind of...
Orion will keep his nose to the floor and follow the scent of the potion.
And as you keep your nose to the floor and follow the scent of the potion, he casually dismisses all those random symbols that are going around the room. And allows you guys to leave. You'd be exiting the door if you were following that potion.
Yes. It kind of amuses me how being like, I probably would have joined that, and it completely changed the way Steady would have reacted. Instead of being closed off in there, he's like, oh no, this is Bannermains. That's pretty easy, right? Went into full trusting mode.
The Bannermains, yes. It is perfect for Spetty's too.
He would be methodical enough to also not have done that. Like, be like, oh, you need some experience. Okay, sure. Can I join it now? Yes. Okay.
Fair enough.
Well, you put enough faith in us to pay our fare. That was kind of him.
Yes.
And you guys in the party, do you see your friend Orion, nose to the floor, butt up, just following a scent?
And I'm going to keep tracking it. How far does it go?
It seems to be taking you down a hallway into the main room where you guys first came in, to a side door, which seems to have a lot of locks on it, and a lot of blackened little blast marks on the outside.
What are you sniffing out?
There's something familiar on the other side of this door. It's itching at the back of my mind.
You hear a blast from inside the door, a poof, and then kind of laughing.
Science!
Oh! I know that sound! Let me in! Let me in!
You start banging on the door, and there's
Start
more...
shaking the grate. No.
And there's more and more laughter inside.
Wait, where are these explosions coming from?
And then she thinks for a little bit. And then you start hearing like the clicking of locks. Click, 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 all the way down the door. All the way down the door. Until it finally peeks open. Inside, what you're seeing is...
I'll be back in a moment.
You are seeing a certain someone, quite in the dark it seems, with goggles on, and they're looking at you.
I have dark vision. What do I see?
You see her. Congratulations. She's still looking at you.
Alright, do I get the full waft of the smell of chemicals and concoctions inside?
Oh, far too many.
Oh yeah, Orion's face is like stunned in silence, and then he just slowly gets this huge smile on his face and his ears perk up. A fellow alchemist, well met.
I am not an alchemist, I am a scientist.
Yeah, that's what alchemy is. Something exploded, what was it?
And she looks back. Nothing? Who's asking?
Can I tell by the smell what exploded, if I roll craft alchemy?
Ooh, I'd say that's a perfectly valid roll. Judging by the amount of the smell that's coming out and your crafting roll and maybe things that you might have done before, you kind of have the assumption that maybe she was crafting something similar to a Tanglefoot bomb. However, it didn't seem to end very well, as now there's, like, tar-like liquid kind of splattered all over the room behind her with your dark vision. And her.
Good. And Orion starts sniffing around the room and walking past her.
Oh no, she has the door peeked open. Like, you'd have to open the door from her if you wanted to go in.
Okay, Orion is like squeezing his nostrils through the door, so it's like pinching his muzzle.
Hey,
you're using way too much potassium nitrate. Even just a pinch too much and it accelerates too quickly and it burns up the rest of the explosive. That's why it's all over the place. You need it to burn slower so it expands, and that way the Tanglefoot bomb has a chance to take hold.
She thinks about this. And she like turns around. She grabs some notes. Starts writing that. Not longer. Yes, it makes sense. That makes sense. And she comes back to the door and pushes your nose back through it. Thank you. So I am.
Orion pouts. His ears fold back, and he just struts out the door.
There's a behind the door. You hear a "Come on, come on!" a few moments later, and no explosion.
Yes!
That'll be 5 silver.
5 silver slides under the door.
Oh, hey, it worked. That'll be 12 silver.
No more silver comes from under the door.
Aw. I'm still adding 5 silver to my inventory.
Fantastic.
Can't stop me.
Yeah. So you guys are going where to? I'm gonna bring you guys back to the Wati map over here.
It looks like there's some unknown landmarks. I at least want to look at this giant sphinx-looking structure. But if we're
moving your guys is over there, as you guys come toward the docks. Now, as you guys start coming up toward the docks, you notice there is a fancy tavern here. Oh no, right over here. That people seem to be frequenting. That you pass along the way. More people kind of going up to the docks, coming to them. Seems a lot of traffic happens around here. The giant sphinx out in the way stands ominously, or rather sits on their belly, ominously looking over the crowd. Now, those who have been part of the adventures way back in Erelon, this is a very familiar sight. In fact, this giant sphinx here looks like the very giant sphinxes that were guarding the Hall of Records. There's a statue of her, yes.
Oh, this is a statue of the. Okay.
Yes, yes, it is a giant statue of the ones guarding the Hall of Records. And Orion, it does seem to just be a giant sphinx, very regal looking, and with
Is there a library in there?
Are you asking me or are you asking your party?
I'm sort of saying what's it called? I'm sort of saying out loud, like, but also what else am I saying? I'm saying it out loud, but I'm also looking a bit closer to see if I can see any evidence of that.
You start peeking, and if you have any kind of knowledge, I would say religion with this one would be a good one to do, or any lore skills related to history, you're free to roll them.
Oh dear, no.
Orion has academia lore.
Ooh, that is a really
This
good
may
one to
be
roll
the-
here.
This may be the only chance I actually get to roll it.
Well, if you hang around, Star Dancer as well, you probably have more chance to use academia lore.
Both
Well,
of your
sweet.
academia lore, Star Dancer and Orion, would get you the information that, while this is not a library, it is certainly something that you would find in books and probably teachings and things. This is the a resting place of some sphinx related to this here area in Wati. Though I would say that you probably didn't get a name from that, but you do know and recall that that is likely a tomb, not a library.
That's not a tomb. I do remember from my studies back at the academy, that is the resting place, or excuse me, that's not a library, that's a tomb. Likely the resting place of an important sphinx here in Wadi.
Oh.
Can't remember how long ago that was.
I guess maybe the it's a guarding statue then.
I suppose. Ooh, do you want to raid the tomb and find out what they're guarding?
No.
Oh. Well, how else are we supposed to find out? Ask.
I mean, you could, or it doesn't really matter that much.
There could be untold treasure inside.
There probably is, but that would be stealing.
Exactly.
Orion looks over to Star Dancer and starts wiggling his eyebrows. Maybe Ring Dancer's in there.
Well, we'd have to.
Does it look
See
like
any
it's been
evidence?
disturbed at all ever in any recent span of time?
For where you're looking, no. It looks like it is probably a very ancient statue.
And I give him a very deadpan look.
Orion's ears fold backwards and he hides behind Steady Shoot.
You get the look as you hide
All right,
behind
so we
Steady
have
Shoot.
a lead on where Ring Dancer and Cassiopeia might have been. I also think we should probably still wait. I have a question.
Mhm.
A very random one. What happened to the random griffin that was taking notes for us? That was like looking to write stories.
Ah, well, he
He
accompanied
left, and he might have also left.
He accompanied you down the way, but he kind of stayed with the slaves as they were outside, like looking around these vegetations and things like that. He was just making sure that they were still fine, and he's kind of stayed there. He doesn't seem to have any issues, kind of looking around the thing. He thanks you.
Okay.
Hoped your
I imagine
guys'-
I imagine griffins are
Alright.
more welcome here than ponies, right?
Oh yeah, way more.
Okay.
Yeah. I just what was I gonna say? Just like I was about to talk about religion and clerics, and I'm like, wait, we don't have a cleric in our party. Wait, there was someone tagging along.
Well, if there is a cleric you're looking for, there is a big temple that kind of stands over along the way.
Yes, that is probably somewhere we'll also want to check because we are looking into most likely some form of exorcism.
Oh yeah. Do we get Storywriter to stay with the slaves here at the docks, or do we take them with us?
He has been very helpful, but he also has been somewhat passive.
I think we can take them to the temple grounds, but not inside. We'll have them lie down in the
Well,
shade.
I actually kind of assume they're staying. Like, I actually probably would ask that. Could, while we do our investigations, they stay with the Bannermains, and then we will proceed to like move them out once we're done with our investigations in town.
Are you asking me or?
I would have. It's something I probably should have asked the person. And if we left and the slaves started following us, I'm like, oh wait.
Well, the main stage had given you enough to cover your costs as well as moving the slaves with the water boat.
Yes, but we're not moving them into the ferry yet. We have
Mhm.
business. We have to find Ring Dancer.
Yes. I guess
Yeah.
I'm confused in your question.
Basically, I'm asking if instead of us dragging them around town with us, can they stay with the Bannermains until
Oh, yeah.
we pick them up for that? Okay.
100%.
Yes.
And
Okay,
quite frankly,
so-
they're pretty happy to because, man,
Yes.
like, look at these trees. I haven't seen so many
Yes.
trees. Like, you know.
Well, it would be more if the Bannermains would be happy to also, have them intruding on their space. Which, I thought it was a pretty decent chance, but
Yeah, like the main stitch said, is like, whatever ponies do come to town, or for the most part, like, they're not really welcome a lot of places, other than the tavern
Yes.
and the Bannerman's HQ. So that is one of the
Yes.
few places that they are more accepted. Like,
right. Yes. So it would be better if we left them there for now, because we don't want to drag them. We don't need to drag them around town. All right, everybody everybody get in the crowd outside the temple. Okay, everybody move to this gravestone. Okay, now everyone around to the temple.
All right. Yeah, we'll keep them at the boss's place until we're ready to leave.
Gotcha.
Good idea.
Were you guys headed to the temple then?
Yes.
You head to the temple. Grand four spires lead up to what would normally be a pyramid, where the top is kind of cut off in its shape, where four large glass windows in themselves seem to be letting the sunlight down into the temple itself, whose doors are open. And you do see some worshippers in there, kind of casually coming, kind of casually going, and what you might assume to be the head priest of this here temple inside.
Hey, I bet.
You shout. I take it, do you shout on the outside of the temple or when you're walking in?
When we walk in, because we see the priest.
As you walk into the temple and start to shout, you'll quickly notice that your voice seems to have been lowered to almost a whisper.
Huh. I wonder why that happens.
Yeah.
Irony.
You know, it is soft whisper. And he doesn't seem to have heard you across the way. He looks kind of old and wizened. Perhaps his hearing is not the best.
Maybe it's a trick. Maybe if I whisper, it'll be really loud. Hey, priest.
Now you can barely hear Orion.
Huh?
I said, now your party can barely hear you.
But does my whisper reverberate off the walls and is heard throughout the town?
It does not quite work like that, unfortunately, no.
Oh. Alright, your turn.
Good, 'cause that's way cooler.
Yup.
Orion nudges a little spout forward. Your turn.
Also, like, I'm assuming you guys are just, like, doing all this stuff in the doorway. Like, it's... You walked in, you heard yourself doing it, and you just kind of started trying to whisper shout over to the cleric across the way.
A little spout is just being a knob on a log, so he's going to poke her until she responds.
Little Spout, you're being poked. If you're muted, David, I'm not sure if you are. Oh, David's not even in call.
Oh,
Ha.
when did that happen?
Daily?
He might have disconnected by the looks of it.
That's unfortunate. She's going to end up bruised by the time he gets back. This is... Somebody stop Orion.
Your little despondent Spout seems to be just that. Flummoxed by this whole temple. Look at that.
Well, that didn't work. Alright, Anziel, your turn. Now you're getting prodded forward.
Anziel?
Poke.
Poke?
Keep it, the button on my microphone's going out.
Oh.
Oh, hey, you're back.
You know, similar to the temple, you know, you have to click the unmute button. You know, just gonna... There you go. You're being prodded, Anziel. Let's go talk to the cleric.
Okay, I guess I'll go talk to Cleric.
You walk up to the cleric. What do you say?
Hello.
And you say hello in a near whisper as he looks down. Oh, hello, my child. And he smiles kind of warmly. You are a Persian, yes?
Yes.
Ah, man, you fit in perfectly here. Look at that. He's smiling, kind of waiting for you to say whatever you were going to say.
What exactly am I supposed to say to him again?
Orion rolls his eyes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, there's my wife. She's making dead bodies.
I have been muted for a while. Anyway, yes.
Welcome back.
We're looking for perhaps information on banishing spirits because of how Cassiopeia is inside Ring Dancer.
Oh, and he kind of thinks a little bit. He looks a little like off-put, especially hearing you talk, Mr. Steady Shoot there. Kind of looks toward you,
Would it be
Anziel.
better if I spoke in Sphinx?
Well, it kind of looks toward he kind of looks toward Anziel again.
Yes.
Does he belong to you? Are you looking to do some sort of exorcism on your slave?
I don't have any slaves, but we're looking to do an exorcism on a friend once we find them.
Well, and he kind of like reels himself back, like he's trying to like parse the information for a second. Well, if you were looking for information for that, you said some evil spirit has inhabited your friend?
You can say that.
Kind of thinks a little bit. Well, normally I'd be able to help in such situations, but typically it's a lot harder to deal with things when we're so far away from the festival. Normally I would jump on the idea of meditating and going in, but after some recent events, I feel it is not in my best interest to be jumping back into the spirit world, as it were. That being said, he kind of thinks a little bit. If it was an exorcism you want, I know that If anybody is devout as removing spirits, it is a good dear friend of mine. And he smiles.
Sela?
Oh, you're already acquainted with her.
Ah, it's all coming together.
And he smiles.
Sela was the bannerman in the southern city, right?
Yep, she is the
Yes.
main stitch of Lurbost, and apparently the guard captain as well, and the party leader of the Rumble Foxes.
And a paladin of Soft Whisper.
That as well, yes. Smiting evil
I
is what
see.
she's all about, apparently.
So, if we do find a ring dancer, we'll probably need to transport her, right?
Yes, this ring dancer is that her name?
That's the name of the
Body she's
possessed
currently
one.
inhabiting.
Ah,
Yes.
right. Spirits. He kind of smiled. Funny business. How did the spirit get so angry in the first place? Typically, if you try to work things out with spirits, it turns out for the better.
Well,
I look over. Yeah, I just look over at Orion. I'm like, well,
well, you see, your holy focalness. Orion pulls out the hat of disguise. It all started back when we were trying to start a family. Things didn't work out. We both got really sad, and we got this idea that we could remake our family. Unfortunately, remaking our family is not as easy as we thought. It required a lot of sacrifices and a whole lot of science. She was responsible for the sacrifices, and I applied the science. So this is what my wife used to look like, and he puts on the hat and pops into Cassiopeia's leather wing form. And this is what she looks like now, and pops into Ring Dancer's form.
My child, it seems that you have perhaps angered her in her post-mortem state, yes? It seems as if you've had an imbalance of compromise. He kind of thinks a little bit. If she was in charge of this sacrifice, and you were just in charge of the science, it seems like she had much more to lose than you.
Orion goes to open his mouth, and then, like in the meme where he frowns and just like lowers the thumb on his wing that he was using to point. No, we both played equal parts. I worked non-stop, the machinery and the constant studying. I did my part just like she did.
And she seems to have died for it, and you have not.
But I mean, she did die. That wasn't intentional, but we brought her back. She's still here.
And so you have brought her back and do not seem to have learned your lesson. It is no wonder that she seems to be angry. Or maybe even confused and trying to...
This is the Soft Whisper. This is. I know you don't know anything about Soft Whisper, but yes, quelling the dead and the undead is something Soft Whisper is kind of. Yes, it's a thing.
And Orion is looking up the steady shoot, and his eyes start to kind of glass over with fog, because the realization of what's been going on is starting to come to him.
Whoa, stay with us, man.
She never fought me. If what she was giving was too much, she would have told me something.
Or perhaps she did it because she felt it was necessary for you to be happy.
I am not aware of how she died. How did she die? I was kind of under the impression she was dead when this started.
Orion closes his trap. And he takes the hat of disguise off and goes back to his leather wing form.
Something to think about, I'm sure, especially if you're going to go see some of my clerics and good friends down in Lurbost, if that is where you are indeed headed by the sounds. Perhaps
Yeah.
if you are to either bring her there or somehow find her way to one of the temples around here, that would be a good starting place. Consoling her with maybe perhaps her passing, and letting her show that you have perhaps grown in some way, if this is the case.
Orion frowns and shakes his head clear. Well, look, that's not important right now. The reason we came to you is because she is close. We don't know how close, if she's ahead of us or behind us, but it's very likely she's come into the city recently. At least within a day. This form right here, and he puts the hat back on. If you see this mare, be very cautious. And he takes the hat off.
Well, let's see here. And he kind of thinks a little bit. Think. Do you have anything to her likeness? Perhaps, he kind of thinks a little bit. Namely, what you might assume to be her cutie mark. A boxing glove or something similar from her?
Well, it's not that simple. She's inhabiting a body, and we need to make sure the body isn't harmed.
And I am aware of that. I could perhaps give you,
Yeah, I
at the
think
very
she's-
least, a direction.
Right. Do we have something that was hers? I left her things alone, and I don't think. I think anything she had, she basically had on her, right? Like with that. That's that. Like if we had anything that wasn't on us, it would be gone because it would be on the other side of a mountain as we fumbled our way through it.
That's where you hear a very tiny little whispering voice coming from your pack there, Steady Shoot.
Okay.
I got something.
Okay.
The cleric is looking around somewhat confused as to where this little whispering voice is coming from, until a tiny little birdie head pokes his way out. She carried her all the way with her. I'm surprised she didn't notice we take it earlier. And that's where he kind of like pulls out what looks to be a very small, partway torn photo. It's just a photo of a really old one, what seems to be some older looking unicorn similar in looks to Ring Dancer. But it seems as if it is just part of the photo. Like I said, it's like the edge was torn off and her head is what was in the what was kept. And Thumbtack kind of presents it a little bit. Right, Hog, getting an alpha that underneath that little cape that she wears, yeah? Always has it on her neck. Why is that?
Family photo?
She didn't talk about her past.
Is there anything written on the back?
There doesn't seem to be anything written on the back. This is just a part of a full photo, and the one that is pictured in it that you are able to see is some older looking mare with also a unicorn with what seems to have some likeness to what Ring Dancer looks like herself. Cleric
Maybe
kind of
that's
So, I mean, it does seem like a family photo, but
and the cleric kind of blinks on over. Oh dear, do I have to cure something for smallness as well? Oi, that's right, I saw you. Tell him to shut his trap.
Shut your trap. Wait, no, I couldn't have said that.
The cleric kind of chuckles. Oh, okay. And he kind of like looks at the paper. If you are handing it to him, he wishes to do things with it.
okay.
Orion puts on a big smile to look as innocent as possible. And as soon as the priest is distracted, he baps Thumbtack on the head for making him say that.
There's a little chirped, whispery chirp as he's thudded back like a whack-a-mole back into Steady Shoot's pack.
And Orion looks up and to the left really fast.
The cleric did not seem to have noticed, but he is looking at this here piece of paper. Yes. I feel like this will do just nicely. And he starts to think, cast some kind of spell. And if you are willing to wait 10 minutes, that is how long it takes to cast said spell.
It's
Can we
a
we figure out
ritual. They all take 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Can we figure out what he's casting?
If you have knowledge, religion, you certainly can.
I do not. But
and,
Orion is watching.
I don't want to. I mean, okay.
as he finishes his spell after 10 minutes, kind of stands, and this is like throughout his spellcasting, you notice different little runes and things and symbols and lights coming from around the pedestal on which he was kind of standing on, as he kind of asks his god for magics that he's probably getting his power from and things like that, until they all kind of coalesce at the top into some sort of arrow that seems to be spinning, and then poof. He looks down at you guys. It seems that she is no longer within this city. If she was here, if you have come here to look for her here. At the very least, that does give you some sort of consolence that perhaps she is either moved on elsewhere, I guess.
Do you know which direction?
He kind of thinks a little bit, shakes his head. Unfortunately, no. Soft Whisper only grants me so much power with how far away this spell can actually function to. I am just informing you that perhaps your journey does not have an end here.
There's a lot more space to cover outside of the city than inside. Sorry.
Ah, well, yes.
I shouldn't. Steady is not this glib, so.
Orion's using the thumb on his right wing to tap his chin. Well, I don't think she would stay too far away from me. We know where we need to go. If we don't find her, she'll likely find us. I'm almost certain she will. And Orion pulls out 5 pieces of silver and offers it as tithes to the priest.
He graciously accepts it with kind of a wave of his cloak. And I would agree. If she is as attached to you as she was in life, if you've shown yourself to be a truly changed person, for probably the better, I'm sure she will love to find you once more. He smiles.
Alright. Was there anything else we needed here?
Well, we were looking for guidance. We found some. I think we need to follow up in the, might be a good idea to follow up in the, how do I put it? Yeah, follow up in the tavern now, because they might have a better idea of where she's going.
Out of character, I'd say go buy items. Except this is probably the worst place for us to go buy items.
My character legitimately needs to buy items.
I think if you go with
there's plenty of market here, though. Like I said, you might need to be accompanied by either Little Spout looking as a Sphinx, Anseal, or Orion with his hat of disguise, because they're probably not everybody's probably going to be on board with selling ponies really high and adventuring gear.
Anseal, are you up for a little grocery shopping?
I mean, have we found any towns that actually have a large pony and don't have sphinxes overrunning everything?
The original towns.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you weren't there when we were there. So. Yeah, the part that you weren't here for was largely a pony town. Yeah.
It seems like there's these pony towns on the west side of this west continent over here, and everything else is sphinxes.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like this land is definitely Sphinx land, you know?
Yep. Arelon is where, like, most of them are. As you kind of get into the eastern side of the map here with all the deserts, you're going to find a lot more Persians, a lot more Sphinxes, mainly because of religious reasons, as far as you know. And then most of the eastern part of the map, outside of Arelon, is more like a lot more ponies, a lot more that kind of thing. In the middle is obviously where you get the mixes, and the southern continent, Star Dancer, I feel like you definitely notice, given academics and whatnot. That's where you get into all the fancy mixes of things, and you have ponies and sphinxes, and most of them seem to be nature related, and even some ruminants.
Where's this?
And the southern continent that you guys are headed toward.
Oh, okay.
Ruminants are there, and that is where they're most known to be.
Hmm. That is where Wisdal is from. Yes.
Hmm. Yes, yes, yes.
Well, I need to buy spells. I don't know what spells I need to buy, so however we cut this off tonight, that's fine. I'll say I bought them or buy them later or whatever.
Yeah. I need to buy runes for my weapons.
Fair enough. Are you guys wanting to say end session here and handwave the kind of market stuff like that? You guys get whatever things that you need up to.
I think it might be.
That's what I'm kind of thinking, because it's not a whole lot of potential to do things in. Oh, I'm going and buying things.
Yeah. I think maybe like it seems like we're the what's it called is not here. Little ring dancer, and
Yeah.
we have a destination to go at least, and so we just sort of need to confirm that Cassiopeia and ring dancer are going the same direction, which I think is likely, but possible, but not possible, but possibly not, which means going to the tavern and asking around at least.
Alrighty.
So maybe we should do that first, and then cut the session off with with the okay, we either have our destination or no, we need to do more for next session. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'd like to go to the tavern and then.
Yeah, and then we can
Yep,
do that
sounds
and
good.
shop and leave. Yeah.
As far as tracking down Ring Dancer, there's probably a good chance, as long as we stay on the track of Soft Whisper, which our next destination is going to lead us to, we're going to keep up with Cassiopeia in some fashion, because she's tied to Soft Whisper in some way, because the shrine that she was working with, along with the slaves, is also a Soft Whisper shrine.
It's
So
possible. Yeah.
She might be a worshiper of Soft Whisper, and that's where she's getting her divine work from, so to speak.
Maybe that would be a definite deviation from Soft Whisper in the main universe, but Soft Whisper hates undead in the main universe.
Yup.
Right.
But anyway,
But as we just revealed, it seems like Dr. Orion was pushing her in that direction. So there might have been some conflict, but I think we're on the right track regardless.
okay. All right, yeah, but let's investigate the tavern before the end of the session, since that's fresh in our minds.
To the tavern.
You head yourself to the tavern, which I know has the name Hunter in it, but my notes didn't transfer over on this one from my other campaign. But know that it has some kind of hunting arrow on the outside, kind of there. Regardless, walking into the tavern, you notice what seems to be a lot more different types, though still mostly sphinxes and Persians around the area. You do notice that there are actually a fair larger population of ponies, unicorns, that kind of thing, milling about here in respect to the other places that you've seen them. And a good portion of these ones seem to actually be decked out in all sorts of fancy armors and things like that you yourself also seem to have. They do not seem to be slaves in their own regard, is what I'm getting at. And some of them seem to be, enjoying the merriment of drinking in a tavern. That's just how taverns are.
Right.
I think I actually do tavern music. Ooh, look at this. I had a thing called the Temple. I should have used that. Oh well. Tavern music it is. What are you guys doing?
Orion looks up the steady shoot. All right, your brothers were here last night, reportedly. Do you see any of them?
I'm gonna go ahead and guess probably not, because banner mates come in all shapes and sizes. So otherwise, I'm like, well, there are an awful lot of adventurers here. Any one of them might be a banner main. Am I right in that assumption, Duck?
Give me a
Or
perception roll. That is a good thing to roll at this certain instance. Doesn't have to be blind if you don't want it to be.
No, screw you. No, I'm gonna make it blind.
As you look around blindly, you do notice that you're probably correct in that assumption, seeing as you do see the occasional badge out in the crowd. Yeah. Also, like, just for the fun's sake, I do have to. What a roll.
Oh wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, you.
I noticed. I'm like, well, there are banner men. Yes, banner mains. Oh, if that was the bad roll, oh no, what did I miss? Anyway,
It was just that obvious. Like, they have flashy badges on.
Yes.
All right. Dr. Orion's going to take it upon himself to start asking very poignant questions, like, who was here last night? He's going to go up to every shiny badge he sees and starts asking.
You start asking around. Give me a diplomacy check for gathering information.
So
Also, this
good
one.
at those.
And this one would be blind. Yep, there you go. After you start asking around various people, most of which don't seem to know who you're talking about, you come across one little rather despondent-looking sphinx who's kind of rolling his eyes. Yeah, I saw her.
Orion's ears immediately perk up. He started to walk away expecting a negative answer. He's like, oh?
Can't say that I'm the happiest. I'd be out of here already if it wasn't for her.
Orion's locked eyes with him. He doesn't blink. He just sits down in a chair and looks at him.
What happened?
Well, comes in here all cocky and whatnot, asking everybody for an arm wrestle. Something about wanting to test out her new strength, and I guess I got a little too cocky. He rolls his eyes a little bit. Bet a ferry ticket down south, and she fucking hustled me. Shakes his head. Fucking women.
How much did she hustle you for?
And he gives you an amount of gold that would be equivalent to what it would cost to go down the southern ferry, which is about, for a pony, 1 gold piece.
That's all she hustled you for? Man, you got off easy.
Still.
This puts us. Means she probably took the ferry, indeed, though.
Also, the conversion rate between Pathfinder 1 and Pathfinder 2 is like 1 gold is equal to 35 gold pieces, roughly. In Pathfinder.
Oh, I
Right.
know.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's not even that. It's like at level 1 gold is this much, and then the higher level, the gold doesn't scale up the same level at the same rate either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's anyway.
I do know that. I'm just antagonizing the guy.
Oh
Gotcha.
yeah, no,
Gotcha.
that's fine. Yeah, I mean 1 gold still isn't. It's a lot for a civilian, but not a lot for an adventurer. Even at now levels.
Orion puts down 2 pieces of gold on the table, and then he puts his hoof up on the table. Thank you so much for the information. You want to double down and see if you can make some of your money back?
He raises an eyebrow. Give me a diplomacy roll on that one. He kind of blinks. I'm not stupid enough to fall for that twice, especially if you know the bitch.
Weakling. You're lucky a gold piece is all she took from you.
You're lucky that he didn't talk to my party member. He kind of spits into a little can at the side.
Oh, and who's your party member?
He kind of points to Steady Shoot. Big one, like that one.
Orion looks over to Steady Shoot. Yeah, that's my Steady Shoot. Where's yours?
Where's yours?
and he squints at you. That's my business. Why don't you fuck off already?
All right. Thanks for the free information. Could have made a gut plug gold pieces, but I get to keep them. And he takes the 2 gold pieces and swipes them back into his bag.
If you want to kick her ass, I'm all for you doing it. Go somewhere else. Let me drink. Takes a sip.
We don't want to kick her ass. I mean, kind of.
No, I mean, you guys came up
I've
to him
been
being
hearing-
like, you just came up to him
been-
just being like, where's this girl? And he's like, just assuming, I guess,
Is Cassiopeia known to be cocky?
He
Are
did.
you asking Orion?
Yes, yes, I'm asking Orion. Yes.
Orion starts to think, and then he flutters up onto your back and sits down. She. And then he raises his eyebrows, squints again, starts making a bunch of faces and scratch behind his ear. And then he starts to speak. What was the question?
Was Cassiope?
Oh, right, Cassiopeia. Was she cocky? No. She was always a very sweet, kind-hearted mare.
Well, Ring Dancer is extremely cocky.
Yeah. Oh no, I hope she doesn't rub off and become a bad influence on her.
I'm not laughing at it in character, but
Yeah,
It still counts.
Same.
yeah. Anyway, no. My Steady is observing a thing I observe, which is like, is Ring Dancer's personality affecting her? I think that's potentially a thing.
That is the question.
We also heard her being angry on the way up, which I don't know if that's like her or not, but
Cassiopeia always had a fiery temper, but it was always, well, tempered. You know, she never let herself explode in anger. It was always a soft build-up, and then she would just stare all the way down into your soul. And
Ring Dancer is very grumpy. So.
What? Ring Dancer a grump? Never.
You never know.
It could be that the two of them are starting to converge. If Cassiopeia is getting comfortable in her new body, she very well could be exploring every avenue of it, including the personality with it. Regardless. Or go ahead.
Yeah. And you didn't see a problem with this before?
Well, she never got fully comfortable in a body before. Everyone else that she brought back always ended up dying. Ring Dancer's been the first one that fits. Oh no. Ring Dancer could be lost forever. Well, we know she headed south, and that's where we're going.
It does sound like she went on the ferry, which means that at very least, if we go to the ferry, we can also ask around again. And its chances are good she went south. I think that's the only direction the ferry goes from here. So,
Yep.
at least that is easy, and going on the ferry would be best to keep up with her.
All right.
And I think,
So we have a destination for next session.
and I think that is a good place for us to end today. And then of course we could hand wave a lot of the, searching for markets, that kind of thing. Most of the markets and things like that and trader boats would actually be on the docks. There actually isn't a lot of different traders in the city. This seems to be more of a residential city more than anything. But there's a lot of traders on there that are more than willing to give you all sorts of comfortable things that they've found on their travels, or you might even find like somebody who's just on here for a study trip that would be able to help with spells and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, just ask Anziel to get a shopping list together and do all your shopping for you.
Pretty much. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and push the
Gold.
button. So